Welcome to Camper Blastoff. I'm Franklin Marquette with Mac Alavino and Eddie McCarthy, and let's get right into it. First thing we're going to debate today, who is the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan? Going to start with you, Eddie.
Well, I think you got to go with LeBron here. I mean, he's made the finals 9 straight years, and anyone who says that Jordan's better is kidding themselves. Jordan always, when he made the finals, he always had really good players around him. Look at the players that LeBron had around him when he made the finals this year. I mean, it was basically a one-man team, and he was playing against arguably one of the greatest teams in the history of the NBA. And if you continue to analyze it even further, you look at Game 1, and you see that the Cavs should have won that game if not for the brain fart of the century by J.R. Smith. And if the Cavs win Game 1, I think they had a shot at winning the finals. And it was all down to LeBron that they got there. So I think LeBron's the GOAT.
All right, what about you, Mac?
Well, you know what? You're looking at why LeBron James just cruised through the playoffs. I'll give it to you. This year was an improbable run. The Eastern Conference has been decimated. Eastern Conference teams have been giving up and tanking the last 8 years because he has had a stranglehold on the East because he's had players like Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving, and an elite Kevin Love who didn't show up this year. Michael Jordan, however, he had Pippen, he had Rodman, he had Steve Kerr at times. He was a dominant player in the league for two different generations. Before and after his White Sox stint, he just ruled the NBA.
Is all of LeBron's final runs because of a weak East? Is that a good point?
No, because I can say that some of them certainly are because of weak East. Like when he was with the Heat, he just blew through the entire conference. But this year, I mean, he barely made it out of he barely got out of the Pacers. The team wasn't good enough to beat the Pacers, but he was. He single-handedly got them past the Raptors, even though it was a 4-game sweep. And then the Celtics, I mean, who expected him to win that series? And LeBron single-handedly willed them to victory. There's not been a player who did that in NBA history.
Mac, what in your mind is like the one defining stat, number, moment, whatever it be, that pushes Jordan over LeBron?
Well, first, I have to dispute that the Celtics were an elite team. They were missing Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. If you look on paper, Marcus Morris and a rookie and Jason Tatum really leading the way for you. I don't think they were all that amazing. And Michael Jordan, to be able to come back after his stint with the White Sox and continue to dominate the NBA like he hadn't missed a beat. He had to go up against a good New York Knicks team with Pat Ewing. He had to go up against the Magic, the Pistons. He dominated a lot of very good teams while he reigned on the NBA.
All right, I think we made some good points. I think, Max made some good points about Jordan, but I think we just got to, appreciate LeBron's greatness while he's out there. I think that's something we can all agree on. Another thing we're going to talk about, over the last couple of years, a lot of changes have been made to the All-Star game in all four major sports. With the MLB All-Star game coming up, do you guys think that the All-Star game, the way the players are picked and the game in general, are starting to become a joke across the country?
Starting? Psh, they've been a joke. I'm not going to watch the game. I don't care how the game goes. There's not an entertaining All-Star game in any sport. I don't care if it's bowling. It's a cash cow. They're bringing in the fan favorites like John Scott in the NHL in 2016. The best competition's not out there. The whole idea of having the best players in the world battling it out, even if you have the right players, it's not competitive. I think watching the Sky Gym 5-on-5s in LA during the summer, that's the best basketball in the world, not Toronto with Drake sitting courtside.
What's your response to that?
Well, you know what, Mac? There is truth in everything that you just said, and I believe that there are hundreds of millions of fans across the country who believe the same thing. But however, we have to be able to reward these players who've done such a nice job for their respective teams, and the All-Star Game is the perfect time to do that. Think about all the young players who can look up to these All-Stars and actually play with them. The All-Star Game, is it a perfect setup? No, it's not. However, I think we still have to have it because it's just one of these things that it's something I think the players need. And in certain sports like hockey, it's really fun to watch 3-on-3 with 25 of the best players in the world going all out on all their dangles and dekes on some of the best goalies as well. What's better than that?
Well, what I have to just add to that, if you want to say that, I'm a New York Yankees fan. I don't want to see Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Gleyber Torres play in Nationals Park next week. Just like 3 years ago, Colin Kaepernick and the rest of the 49ers crew declined to play in the Pro Bowl, all 7 of them that were elected. I'm fine with that. Take your 4 days off and come back ready to dominate in the second half of July and August. I don't want to see it. I'm not going to watch.
Well, I am certainly not saying that I think we should force these players to go to the All-Star. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He's turned down the Pro Bowl for the last 10 seasons. I do believe, though, that if you're selected to the All-Star game and you choose to go, then you have that right, and that's why we should keep around the All-Star game, because it is a great tradition, even if it's not always what it used to be.
I got to just throw in one more point. If we're just letting players take their options, are we really getting the best of the best and the cream of the crop out here? It's not worth watching. The whole point of it isn't even executed. I'm sorry, Eddie. I just can't agree with you on that one.
All right, we're out of time. I'm sure we can all agree to disagree. You know, there's no correct answer to any of these things. But I've been Franklin Markel with Eddie McCarthy and Matt Galavino, and thanks for watching.